Alright, so I got a 2015 Ford Escape. And I'm doing a radiator hose repair. And I did most of the tear off of the front bumper, some of the assembly or whatever. So some of the assembly you got to take off is some of the bolts and the trim, and the bolts that are underneath the front bumper, and obviously on the other side of the wheel well you take off the bolts and the trim plugs, and then you got to remove all this up top. And then I started removing the air cabin, the mass airflow, and then eventually I'm gonna take off everything else up front here just so I can access the radiator, which is behind this frame right here. So stay tuned and I'll give you some more updates. So I got another update. This hose, see, I didn't originally start this job, so another guy came out and did the actual install of the radiator, and the owner of the car had put fluid back into the vehicle, and there was a leak, and this hose here out of this out of the end of that nozzle's got like a clip, a metal clip right there, and it was leaking out of the bottom of that. So this here may be the main culprit behind the radiator fluid loss. But also after just a few hours, not too bad, but the clamp there is one. See, after I did the reinstallation, this clamp here goes back up in the side, down on top of this assembly here, and then down here is, sorry about that, so let's readjust this here. So down there is the other part of where I connect that bottom part of that hose at the bottom of the radiator. So to finish up with that, hopefully it'll have some kind of better outcome, I should say. But actually it's just yeah, to do that hose, and then I got to figure out if this hose here is going to be another one that's going to have to be replaced. But hopefully it's just that main one instead of this one. And I mean, I do got to say it's a little challenging, but it's coming along. Hopefully I get it done here tonight, and I'll post the rest of the results after I'm finished. And we'll see what the progress is after I add some fluid and get the engine rolling again. So I added fluid in the reservoir, and as it passed through the series of hoses back here, this is for your heater core back here, but before it goes to your heater core, it's got to pass through your engine, and it's leaking down. It's leaking down underneath your valve cover, and from these hoses here, and I'm not sure if it's coming from this T section and these fittings here where these hose clamps are at. I wasn't 100% sure if it was coming out of those hoses or not, but I know I can see the fluid dripping down on the bottom part of the block down there. So a few hours passed by already, and I wasn't able to fully finish the job tonight. I'm putting everything all back together for for the client. But down inside the back part of the motor and down underneath where all the hose clamps for the radiator system is on this Escape. On that side of the vehicle over there, it showed that coolant was leaking down inside all that mess down there, but I ended up replacing the hose that was shown in previously in the video down here on the side, and I ended up taking off this whole crowd, their wiper blades, and right now I'm putting everything back together. Front bumper just has to be reinstalled. I have it the main pigtail tied in right now. All you gotta do is put it in place and call it a night. Client wants to take the car back to the shop so they can figure out what's the problem is, and yeah, hopefully they can get some better results than what I could provide. There wasn't any other surety about if the car actually needed other hoses, and which I think they do. There wasn't no milky residue on the dipstick indicating a blown head gasket either, so that rules that out, but it's also just something to keep in mind. But as far as the hoses that tie into the engine for the coolant system, it's leaking from there. But the client didn't have the other hoses available, so then that's why I'm having to turn everything away, and they want to take it to the shop, which is a loss. It's a bummer, but I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, until next time.